Well, I can't remember the last time I had a Subaru on test. A Subaru. How do you pronounce it? I did an ad for Subaru 100 years ago. I think I was still at Car Magazine. And the powers that be said that it had to be said Subaru. So like Subaru. So I just say Subaru. I actually don't know what I say, but I like them in general. So, you know, old Terry has a Subaru Forester, which, okay, so I'm in a Forester. Not like Terry's, hey? His is way much older than this one. I think he paid like 100 or 110,000 Rand. If you don't know, you should know because we've spoken about it in my podcast, my podcast. More Cars, Wine and Roscoe. I hope he's listening. Anyway, it is not the prettiest car. I mean, we've named her, I said we, he's named her Jean, like aubergine, because it is an interesting color to say the least. It's sort of that maroon, I would say maroon. But anyways, not the prettiest. And that's kind of been the problem with a Forester not selling in South Africa that much. You know, all the rivals and competitors are a little bit more maybe edgy looking, more refined looking, prettier maybe. So that has been a bummer, but I adore a Forester for what it is. And this generation now, so I'm in the latest one, I think actually looks pretty rad. And I would be happy to own one, in fact. You've got to bop. And you've got to... This song, I could just see my parents dancing, like a parents dance, you know? Tap toe. Ooh, ooh. So I'm in the Forester Sport, okay? It's another model that's been added to the range. It's all about adventure, you see. And if you look at Forester owners, okay, barring Terence, they're normally like surfers and mountain bikers and just like full-blown adventurers. They need a car that can kind of take them anywhere, but isn't a bazillion rand. And also it's that like car that you don't care if you, not that you don't care, but it's okay if it gets a bump or a scuff. It kind of adds to its character. It's like the more the better, do you know? I mean, in the boot you've got the sort of rubber mat and everything. Obviously that's for, you know, easy cleaning. Also I love it because my groceries don't roll around. You've also got these waterproof seats, which I love because I often go swimming in the sea and I never ever change before I get into my car. I do that at home. So I always leave what is happening? I always leave wet bum marks on the seat, and this is so nice. It just dries. I've also had Archie in the back. You'll probably be able to tell from all the sand in the boot and everywhere else. You know, taking him for walks, he gets wet, he swims, whatever, on the seats. I don't care. It's so nice. You give it one little wipe and it's clean, and it's just such an easy and flippin' practical car. Now, this has got a more powerful engine. It's got the 2.5 litre because, again, I think Subaru realized that customers wanted or missed the turbocharger of previous generations. I remember driving a Forester a long time ago. I was actually on my way to Terence and Stillby, and I can't recall what generation it was, but it must have been about 7 or 8 years ago, and it was quick. It was amazing. I remember thinking, like, why would no one want this over everything else? Because, like, I would want this car for, oh my gosh, it was amazing. And I've kind of loved Forester ever since. This, unfortunately, isn't obviously as powerful. I don't think, I can't remember what the outputs were of that car, so maybe I'm fucking whatever, but you can feel a difference in sort of a naturally aspirated, obviously. This has got 136 kilowatts of power, 239 newton meters of torque, so it's not slow, obviously. And it's fine for overtaking. I've taken it on the highway, I've taken it along the coast, like, and it's actually really fine. The fuel consumption is claimed at 7.6 litres per 100 k's. I'm sitting quite a bit higher than that, but I have driven like an absolute hooligan, so that makes sense, because you can actually get this down to what the claimed fuel consumption is. Inside, okay, is maybe a little bit outdated for many, but again, I think it's kind of like that Prado thing that I spoke about, where it kind of adds to its charm. And let me just check that no one's coming. Yeah, I find it actually not terrible. I mean, it's so outdated. I mean, it has a CD player. And the only reason I knew that or saw it, because I didn't actually even notice it, was because I pressed the eject button and it makes that sound like when it's getting a CD out. Oh, it just takes me back, nostalgia. But it also has buttons. Yay! I mean, they're not great buttons, but they're buttons. I'll take them. But you do have this fancy touchscreen with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It has everything you need in it. Really, it has everything you need. You can turn it into snow or mud. And it is bloody safe. It's got like eyesight driver assist system, which is a Subaru thing. And it's like all these things like blind spot assist. And it even brakes in reverse. Okay? If you're going to bump into like a rock or you don't see a pillar or something, this car will be like, nope, don't do that. Fabulous. So this Sport is at like 599,000 Rand. You can get the 2 litre for a bit cheaper. But you could, and this is something that I would often consider, I think. I always think if I had to buy a car, what would I buy? This would certainly be at the top of my list because a pre-owned Subaru Forester is actually quite fantastic. Not like Terrence going down to 100,000 Rand, but you can get one like a little bit, Bearing in mind, I do pre-owned car reviews on Gumtree. There will be one on a Forester, so if you want to know what those kinds of pricings are, go look at that. Yeah, I think I would probably look at something because they go forever and they're so reliable. And I think the word that comes to mind for me with a Subaru Forester is authentic. It just is what it is, and it does what it does bloody well. And it's not trying to be pretentious or, anything else. I don't love the orange accents around here. This is for the Sport model. But to be honest, I didn't actually notice it. You can set the roof thing to how high you want it. Like, it's just really nice. No, nice as tea's nice. Your mum's nice. No, the Queen's nice. No, this is actually flippin' fabulous, is what it is. You make my dreams come